Hey y'all, I have been fiddling with my camera for a lot of minutes because I can't decide if it's better to have it high and looking down on me. That gives me fewer chins, obviously. Or if it's better to be straight. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time deciding that today of all days. I think I'm about to hit about 100 videos, which is pretty cool. And I still have these basic questions for myself. Anyway, it is, I don't know, like 10 o'clock at night or something. So at least there's no sun for messing up my lighting. And we'll see if that looks better. And this is going to be my weekly wrap up. So I also noticed in my last video that I was kind of like moving around a lot. So I'm going to try and just like plant into a spot and not move too much, although I do have to reach for things. So sorry if my rocking makes you dizzy. So over this last week, I mean, it was interesting to me, but it's probably not really interesting to anyone else. There are a couple of things that I'm going to get to do kind of on the side of my job. And so this last week I had to spend some time like doing some extra paperwork and stuff. One of the things that I had to do is a background check. And I, have done those in the past, but it's always so hard because they make you think of your addresses from so long ago. So I had to do it for 28 years back, every address I've ever had. So there are probably some people who have lived in one place their whole life, but even just over the last 10 years, I've had 3 addresses just since I moved to New York State. And I was in St. Louis for a year, and then I had 2 addresses during the 5 years that I was in Arkansas. And then I probably had 10 addresses in Texas before that. So hopefully they're able to get what they need. And I don't look like a big fat liar because on some of it I had to like, okay, what year was that? How old was I in 1990? Whatever. What was going on? How many kids did I have at that time? So that is such a pain in the butt. The other thing that's kind of cool that I got to do is that a local magazine called 585 Magazine, 585 is our area code here in Rochester. One of the literary columnists is starting a new column called about literary citizens in Rochester, and she asked if I would be willing to be profiled for that. Obviously, because ask me questions about myself. I love that. So we did the interview last week by phone. I think maybe it was Thursday, and it was kind of fun, but it's kind of gotten me thinking a lot over the last couple of days about what it means to be a citizen, what it means to be a member of a community. So, been thinking about how, like, even being part of like the theater community here in Rochester, I don't really think of myself as an actor, although I do act in some shows. But I'm also like a stage manager, or I might be a house manager, or I donate money, or I buy tickets. That's what makes me feel like I'm part of the community. And for reading in Rochester, I'm a member of several book clubs run locally, and I go to several libraries. I'm also the president of the Rochester Teen Book Festival Incorporated, which is a nonprofit that hosts this big book festival, which is going to be May 15th, by the way. It's going to be virtual, so there's no reason for you not to attend some of it. It's totally free. Please expect me to be talking about that between now and May 15th. We have a new bookseller. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be amazing. But the point is, I think that one of the things that I think is so important about claiming a community or claiming citizenship of a community is what you're doing for that community. Even like, looking at myself wearing this sweatshirt, this sweatshirt is part of the Avenue Black Box Theater's kind of branded line of stuff. So I have sweatpants, I have the sweatshirt, I have several of their hoodies. You know, I buy merch everywhere I go. I've got stickers for the local places that I love. Um, because I think it's just so important to be an active member, like even on Bookstagram, you know? So anyway, I've been thinking about that a lot, and don't be surprised if my Facebook page has a blog post about it, because I have also been thinking about how I want to resume regular blogging, both in my reviews, my very persona, as well as in my kind of psychologist persona, because there's just so much stuff that comes up that I think would be helpful to kind of talk about and give a space for. So those are some pretty cool things. I'm going to talk about The Outlaw as the book. It is not going to be spoiler free as usual, because I don't know how to do that. I'm just like, let's just talk about the book, right? So I'm going to talk about Outlawed. But before I do that, I want the other awesome, cool, amazing, whoa thing that happens to me this week is that a couple of weeks ago, someone from Forge Books, which is an imprint of the Macmillan Publishing Company, messaged me via my Instagram and asked me if I was willing to receive a book as part of a promo tour that they're doing. And I was like, hell yeah, send me free stuff anytime you want. So let's see, what did I get? I got, a bag of coffee. It smells so good. Farm direct from Haiti. Opening markets for small producers. So this is thank goodness, a medium roast. Rich and smooth, toasty chocolate, mellow citrus highlights. I look at the bag too. Like, love it. Coffee is always a wonderful gift to give. Over $3 per pound to producers, direct market access, and 100% proceeds returned. Goes to empowerment, agriculture innovation, and small business training, and reforestation. Each bag plants a tree on deforested mountains. Part of the Fair Trade Federation. That's awesome. Coffee I can feel good about drinking. Happy to get that. Let's see. Oh, this is beautiful. This little cup. Look at how small this little cup is. Obviously, it's for trinkets and not for drinking tea out of, or not tea or coffee for that matter. Because it's so small. I love this. I love this. I love that. Something's in there. Our in-house pottery team is made up of all women. Every piece is carefully crafted with love by a mother wanting to send her children to school. And there's a picture of a woman working at the wheel. Has anybody tried pottery? It's hard. I love it. Need to have this cup of tea in my hand because, as always, it's freezing balls in this room. I don't know if this Dunkin' mug is fair trade. And then the last thing, last but not least, is beautiful, the book. It's called Remembrance, a novel by Rita Woods. Voodoo kept her safe. Now it may destroy her. So I saw something that said for lovers of the Underground Railroad and Orphan Train. And I actually love both of those books. A place of sanctuary, of freedom, and perhaps magic, if you could make it there. Now, 3 women, separated by time and oceans, but alike in desperation, seek its refuge. 1791, Haiti. The island is on the brink of revolution, and Abigail is forced to flee with her mistress, leaving her children behind. 1857, New Orleans. Promised her freedom on her 18th birthday, Margot is sold away just days before to settle her master's debts. Present day, Cleveland. Gail struggles to rebuild her life in America after losing nearly everything in a devastating earthquake. With no other place to turn, the rumor of an ancient magic calls to Gale, Abigail, and Margot from across the centuries. Built on voodoo and protected by secrecy, remembrance just may be their last hope on the road to freedom. Well, that sounds awesome and perfect for Blackity Black February. So it's top of my TBR for February. Thanks so much to Forge. And I don't remember the woman's name who messaged me, but thanks so much for sending me a copy of the book. I also last week bought another box from Bones Coffee of their sampler pack for the holidays because I love it so much. And supposedly they're, at the end of their stock because it was the holidays. So the holiday sample pack. So right now that sample pack, I believe, is like 18 bucks. So I just bought another one because it's this flavor that's selling the box for me. But I also really like the oat fudge flavor. So I'm not sponsored. I did ask them if they would be interested in an affiliate program. So cross your fingers on that one. I'm also doing a rep search for Ire Wolf Company. So the end of that rep search is tomorrow. So I'm really hoping that I get to rep their products because I love them so much. The book that I plan to read today, which will be my last book for January, is Cemetery Boys. I haven't started it yet. I was going to start it yesterday, didn't. Was going to start it this morning, just slept until 1 o'clock. So I haven't even started it yet, but I believe it is about a transgender boy who is trying to kind of like break free of his parents' like expectations of him, and there's a ghost. Ooh. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to start this immediately upon stopping this video. So, yay. And I think I've said several times, this is the book I keep meaning to read. I keep meaning to read. I keep meaning to read. And then for some reason, it keeps getting pushed down my TBR. So this is going to end my January. I started January with Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which blew me away. I loved it so much. Oh, and I found this person on Twitter, they passed by my feed, who is an artist who's making these like little diagrams and pictures of some of the artifacts and stuff from Black Sun. Artists are magicians, like craziness. I will post, let me scoot over this way. I will post the picture of the main character from the book that this artist drew or made or whatever magical, voodooed into existence, right here, because it's so good. It's on my phone. It's my wallpaper for my phone. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the book that I read, one of the books that I read last week. If you have not read this and you don't want spoilers, please go away. But come back for another video some other time. Or go and read this book and then come back and see if my experience matched yours and drop me a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to get better about that. Oh, and go over to my Instagram and follow me over there because I'm trying to get to 6K for my birthday, which is in 2 weeks. So head on over to Instagram and I'll follow back, of course. Okay, go away. We're going to talk about this book. Okay, y'all. Outlawed. This is one of the books that I got from my book of the month, I believe, for January. I put the sleeve back on, or the cover back on upside down. Yeah, for January. So I was really excited about it because, it's women, cowboys, and their outlaws or whatever. So the book is about this woman, Ada, and the world is supposedly I think it's 1892 US or something like that. 1894. So I don't know a whole lot about what was really going on in the U.S. territories during 1894. So some of you will know more about this. But the world as it's created here is that there are no more United States of America. I'm just thinking, like, were there? I don't know. There were some states, though, I think at that time, weren't there? I didn't major in history. Anyways, and she's living in a place where, and this seems to be pervasive, where women's value is based on their having babies. So she is at the age where she's supposed to be getting married so that she, can have babies. So she is a midwife in training. Her mother is a midwife. She's been training for midwifery. And she's been married for a year, doesn't get pregnant. Her husband and his mom put her out of the house, make her go back home to live with her mother. And an illness strikes, like measles or mumps or rubella or something, that we don't really have anymore. And they place the blame on her. So it's pretty common for barren women to be accused of witchcraft when there's something else going on that other people are trying to find a blame for. So she is really smart and science oriented. She's a midwife with her mom. But her mom sends her to go live at a nunnery so that these people don't hang her as a witch because she didn't get pregnant. So there's a lot of other examples of barrenness and what it means to women to be barren. They can basically be thrown out of their houses. But once they start having kids who live, then they can kind of write their own ticket, basically. So one of the things that it talks about is, like, if you're in an abusive relationship with your husband, have a few kids and then you're allowed to leave. You have the power to leave because you had these babies. So she goes to the nunnery. She doesn't like living with the nuns because it's boring. And there are these outlaws that the lead nun, mother nun, knows about, sends this girl off to go live with the kid. That's what the name of the head outlaw is. So Ada goes to live with this merry band of women who rob people and live, in the valley. The kid is neither he nor she, but bore a child before and had a husband and all of that sort of stuff, and suffers from, probably by description, they're describing kind of either schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, but they don't call it either of those things. So Ada is living with these women. They're being outlaws. She sucks at it. She joins them as the doctor because of her midwifery experiences. And some people like her, some people don't like her. Somebody almost freezes to death, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I liked the book fine. I've never read any other Anna North books before. The writing was fine. Like, I wasn't blown away by it or anything, but I did like it. And the story moved along, the pacing was good, so I liked that. I liked the story, although the world isn't super well developed, I think. And the characters didn't feel super developed, even though there are separate stories. So the women that Ada goes to live with, over time, she learns the history for each of them. And she meets a man, and we learn a little bit about his traumatic history. Toxic masculinity is a bad thing for everyone, not just for women. And then they have a plan. The kid, who's the leader, has a big plan for one big score, and then has an episode. So they go off to do the plan without the kid. And shit hits the fan, as you might expect. So and that's, you should read that part. I'm not going to tell you what happens. But the way that it ends is basically that Ada goes off to become a midwife or doula or, you know, whatever, to help women have their babies or not have their babies as they want to. But she's wanted, like major wanted. She's outlawed for real. Everybody knows her. She's been telling everybody her name. She's been telling the business up and down. Like, she got arrested and she was talking about all the details about where the thing was. Like, everybody knows her. And she goes to this other town and like hangs a shingle and sets up a shop. And it's like, okay, guys, you know, you send them to me if they need medical care. I'll send them to you if they need safety. Bye. And then it's over. And I'm like, someone's going to hang you today. Like, there's no, like, there was so much emphasis put on how unsafe it is to be one, barren, and then two, to be, you know, an outlaw and barren, and to be a woman on your own and all this stuff. And then it just ends with her being single on her own in a town she doesn't know, taking up a shop that another barren doctor lady had to vacate because they were going to hang her as a witch. 3 stars. Which is still an I liked it. This is the, I think, second or third book from Book of the Month that I've read. And I think my general impression has been 3 stars overall. So I'm hoping that the next few books that I read from them, I really like, but I'm kind of the opinion, I bought an annual subscription, you know, annual or 12 credits or whatever, however it works. So I'm also thinking that once I'm done with those 12 credits, I'm just going to be done with BOTM. But the ones I have for this month left over are the Prophets and the Removed. So one or both of those could be great. And then I would, you know, stop sucking lemons about it. Like I said, my birthday's coming up middle of February. And I'm hoping, I don't know, to think of a giveaway or something. Especially if it's 6K on Instagram. And like I said, I think I just hit 100 videos on YouTube. So those feel like milestones worth celebrating. If you are still here, oh, I didn't tell you. I'm drinking a Scottish breakfast tea from the English tea shop. My kid has been blah, blah, blah about how people over across the pond put milk in their tea, and I don't usually. So I finally tried that yesterday when I oversteeped this bag the first time. Leaves, I didn't actually use a bag, but, and it's actually pretty good. So apparently I'm British now. All right, y'all. If you're still here, I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here. Sorry to totally spoil that book. If you have a whole different experience of the, what is the name of it now? I don't even know. Oh yeah, Outlawed. Then please let me know, because I'm here to talk about it. All right. Catch you on the next one.